Welcome to Parent University, Session 1, the ACT Aspire. In this presentation, we are here to help you interpret and understand your child's results on the ACT Aspire, understand some of Ohio's new graduation requirements, and discover some support strategies and tools to help you prepare your child for college and career readiness. What is the ACT Aspire? The ACT Aspire is a nationally normed test that measures students' academic achievement in multiple areas. It's aligned to the ACT College and Career Readiness Standards, and it's designed to let you know if your student is on the track to perform at a non-remedial level on the ACT when they are a junior in high school. Why did my child take the ACT Aspire? Students took the ACT Aspire to determine if they're on the path to college and career readiness and how they will perform when they take the actual ACT test. Another good reason that they took the ACT Aspire is because it's very similar to the next generation assessments they will be taking at the end of certain courses as part of a graduation requirement. This will also allow teachers, students, and parents to see where our students are strong and where they have weaknesses that we can support through the next few school years. The scores on the ACT Aspire are a little different than the scores on the regular ACT. While you're used to hearing scores of 18, 22, 28, possibly 30 on the regular ACT, the ACT Aspire scores students in the range of 400. In 8th grade, here's a list of the suggested scores to be considered non-remedial or college and career ready. At this time, please locate your copy of your child's ACT Aspire scores and maybe take out a pen or pencil so that you can jot some notes down. The score reports were distributed in your child's class. If you don't have one, ask your child for it. On your score report, you're going to see 5 little charts that look like this. We're going to talk specifically about the English report. You'll know it's the English report because it says English on it. Underneath the English, it tells you if your child is college or career ready. It will say ready, close, or in need of support. The actual score is below it. Over here on the graph, we have a line showing us exactly what the ACT considers to be college and career ready. You have an orange dot representing your child's score, a gray dot representing the national average, and then an orange path that shows you where your child would continue to score in the future if they continue doing what they've always been doing. For each of the subject areas, it also breaks it down into smaller pieces. For English, this includes production of writing, conventions of standard English, and knowledge of language. And it tells you your child's percent and actual scores for each of those. For whichever part they scored the lowest in, it also gives you specific instructions as to how your child could improve at that level. For example, in your writing, experiment with how word choices affect meaning and language functions differently in different contexts. It gives you ideas that you can use with your child to improve their score the next time they take a similar test. There's a page that contains supplemental scores to the ACT Aspire. One of these is your child's national percentile rank for all of the tests. This shows you a score of 92 would show you that they scored as good or better than 92% of the other 8th graders who took this test. Another supplemental score on this report is progress with text complexity. This gives you an idea if your child is reading at a level appropriate for ACT readiness. Notice with this student, although all the scores have been very high, their text complexity score is a little bit lower and they're not making significant progress towards that. This is important because as students approach college, they're going to have to read more and more difficult text. It gives you ideas in here of specific text levels that they should be reading at to help them improve at that. Now that you've had a chance to look at your child's report, let's talk about some future goals. One suggestion is to focus on your lowest performing area and implement some of the suggested improvements. Talk about these improvement ideas with maybe your child's teacher, the school counselors, and definitely sit down and have a discussion with your students about where they're weak and what they need to do better. Encourage students to take challenging classes because that will help them improve on some of these higher level thinking skills. We have a College Now counselor at the school that we'll talk about in a minute. And most importantly, help your children learn that they have to keep working at something if they want to get better at it. College Now / Gear Up Ohio is a grant-funded program that we now have in our schools that can provide our students with a lot of different college and academic supports. I've included the contact information for each of the College Now representatives for the schools, and they're a good resource. You can contact them if you want to know anything about college, scholarships, ACT and SAT, and there's also going to be a summer program coming up for rising ninth graders, which will be your students, to help get them on the path to success. Watch for information about that. Here's a list of additional resources that you can access to help you start planning for college and career. One of the most useful resources on this list is the ACT profile. It's on the ACT website, and it allows you to start setting up a resource where your child can look at different careers and colleges that might help them meet their goals. Now let's talk about what your child needs to do to graduate from high school. Here's a list of the graduation requirements. This gives you the minimum classes that they would have to take and pass in high school to graduate. After taking and passing all of their requirements, students will also have to take end-of-course exams in this specific set of classes. There are 3 ways that students can graduate. They can pass 7 of their end-of-course exams and earn a minimum number of points. They can earn a remediation-free score on an SAT or ACT, which is taken during their junior year. Or they can participate in a career tech program and earn their approved credential and also achieve a WorkKeys score that demonstrates career readiness. Now, to pass a class in high school, students must pass 4 out of the 6 marking periods to earn credit. If it's a semester class, they need to pass 2 out of the 3. If you look at these 2 lists, what you'll realize that as soon as they get their 3rd failing grade, they have no longer passed the class. Our last suggestion to you is to get your child involved in school. School involvement promotes better attendance, helps students build better relationships with teachers and peers, and starts building up their resume for when they apply to colleges.